Hello everyone. So in this chapter we are going to study about for loops. So earlier we looked at while loops. While loops get executed as long as the while condition evaluates to true. Okay. So as long as there is a condition which is evaluated at the beginning of each loop or each iteration. So every time that a loop runs, that is called one iteration of the loop. Okay. So in each iteration of the loop, the condition is evaluated again. If it is true, then it runs for one more iteration and so on. But to execute a block of code for a certain number of times, okay, for a certain number of times, we use for loops. Let us see how to write these for loops. A for statement looks something like this. Okay. So one second. Yes. So for I in range 4, so it always has this for keyword in the beginning. Then it has a variable name. So here the variable is I. Okay. Then it has the in keyword for I in, and then usually it has a call to the range method or range function, and this range function can take either 1, 2 or 3 arguments. Okay. After that it has a colon, and in the next line there is an indented block which becomes the body of the for loop. Let us see an example. So this is a simple example for counting. So suppose we want to count from 0 to 4. So we want to count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So first I'm printing, simply print counting from 0 to 4. Now the for loop will look like this. For I in range 5. So the way for loops work is that, uh, uh, I should say that the way range function works is that whatever argument is passed here, the upper limit, so we go up to but not including this number. So we go up to but not including 5. So when we specify only one argument to this range function, by default we start from 0. Okay, by default counting starts from 0, and then we go up 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. We go up till 5 but without including 5. That means we only go till 4. Okay. So here I am saying print, and inside this I am saying number, and I am using this format method. So if I run this code, so this will be the output. So basically in each iteration of the loop, in the first iteration, I started with I equal to 0. In the next iteration, whatever variable that I specify here, this gets updated in each iteration. Okay. The variable I gets updated in each iteration, and whatever should be the next value of I, that is given by this range function. Okay. So range starts from 0, 1, 2, 3 and it goes to 4. So that is why you get this output. So the first time the loop is run, the variable is set to 0. The variable I goes up to but not including the number passed to range. So now if you want to look at the flow chart, so first I just put a simple print statement counting from 0 to 4. Then this is my loop for I in range 5. So basically I will start from 0 and 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this loop will simply run for 5 times, and each time it will print number, space, and whatever is the value of I, that will be printed, and the value of I is getting updated each time 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is why we get this output number 0, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. Okay, and as soon as the loop is complete, we'll exit the loop and go to the next statement. Fine. Now let us look at another example. Suppose we want to add the numbers from 1 to 10. Okay. So what we do is, I take a variable called total. So whatever is the sum of the numbers, that I'll be storing in this variable called total. So I initialize total to 0, because before I add any numbers from 1 to 10, the sum is 0, right? So I initialize total to 0. So now I'm writing my for loop. I'm saying again this for keyword. Then here I'm naming, earlier we named my variable as I. For example, if you see here, the variable name is I, but here I'm using the variable name num. So you can use any variable name. The rules for creating a variable name. So you can use any variable name for num in range of 11. So why am I taking 11? Because I want the sum of numbers from 1 to 10 including 10. Okay, so I want to include 10. So to range I must pass the number 11, because range does not include whatever argument is passed to it. Okay, so after that what I do, I say total is total plus num. So what I'm doing here is, in each iteration of the loop, I'm adding whatever is the number to the sum so far. Okay, so initially the sum is 0. In the first iteration I'll add simply 0, so that won't change anything. In the second iteration I'll add 1, so this becomes total is total plus 1, total becomes 1. In the next iteration I'll add 2, so like that in a series I'll add 1 2 3 4 so on till 10. So now if I run this, I get the sum of numbers from 1 to 10 is 55. Okay, now we can also write this same loop using a while loop. How to do that? Let us see. So in the same way as I've done here, I'll take a variable called total and I'll initialize it to 0. But now I need another variable to see like how many times I'm running these iterations. So just like we have this variable num here, in a for loop you don't have to do the initialization step for this loop variable, but in a while loop you have to do that. So I'll initialize my num to 1 because I want to add sum of numbers from 1 to 10. Next, in the while I'll put the condition num less than equal to 10, total is total plus num. So what am I doing here? I'm saying that I'll start from the number 1 and I'll keep and I'll go 2, 3, 4 and so on. I'll add each number to total. Fine. So that means in each iteration of the loop, I must increment this num. Alright. So after incrementing the num, I will check whether this num is less than or equal to 10. Once it becomes greater than 10, I don't want to add those numbers, so I will exit the loop. And inside the loop, I'll simply say total is total plus num. That means whatever is the previous value of total, to that I'm adding the new number, and this new sum I'm assigning it to this variable total. So here if I print sum of numbers from 1 to 10 is, so you can see that we get the same answer as 55. Okay, now I want to give you a little more information about this range function. So this range function, as I said before, it can take up to 3 arguments. That means you can either give it 1 argument, 2 arguments or 3 arguments, and it behaves differently in each of these cases. Okay, so basically these 3 arguments correspond to starting, stopping and stepping. Okay, so till now we have looked at how the range function behaves when only 1 argument is given to it. So when only 1 argument is given to it, the start is by default 0. The stop is this argument which is given to the range function. But whatever is the stop value, it does not actually take the stop value. It just stops one step before the stop value. Okay. So if I can write a range function which takes 2 arguments, the first argument will be the number where to start, and the second argument is the number up to but not including which range will count. Example, if I want to add the numbers from 10 to 15, including both 10 and 15. How will I do that? Again, I'll say total equals 0. Now I'll say for num in range. So I'm not starting from 0, I'm starting from 10. So I'll put that as the first argument. And the second argument is still where do I want to go? I want to go till 15, but I want to include 15. So I'll specify 16 here. And I'll say total is total plus num. And I can print total. So this will be the value 75. Fine. So when we pass two arguments to range, the first one is the starting number. This is included. The second number is the stopping number. But we stop one step before this. So basically this num will take the values, take values 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. So when you pass three arguments, so the first argument is the when you pass three arguments, the first argument is the number where range starts. Okay. The second argument is again the number up to but not including which range will count. And the third argument is the step argument. What is the step argument? The step argument is the amount by which variable is increased after each iteration. Okay. I'll explain this to you via an example. So suppose we want to add all the even numbers between 10 and 19. Okay. So here again, just like we have been doing before, I'll start by initialize total variable which will hold the sum to 0. Okay. Now I'll say for num in range. So I want to go from 10 to 19 and I want to include 19. So I'll say 10 to 20. And next I'll give the step size because I want only even numbers. So I'll give the step size as 2. Okay. Now I simply have to do total is again total plus num. So what this does is this will add all the even numbers between 10 and 19. How is that? Because each time instead of earlier what were the values that num was taking, num would go like 10, 11, 12 etc. But here num will take the values 10, 12, 14, 16 and 18 because it won't take the value 20 because we stop one step before that. So it will only take these values 10, 11, 12, 14, 16 and 18. Okay. So why is it taking the values like this? Because here we have specified the third argument to the range function as 2. So in each iteration it will update the value, it will add 2 to this whatever was the earlier value of num. Fine. Now if I print the total, so the sum of numbers between even numbers between 10 and 19 is 70. Now suppose similar example, if I want to add all the multiples of 3 between 1 to 100. So how can I do that? Again same formula, start with a total equals 0. Now for num in range, so we have to, what are the arguments that I should pass to this range function? Okay. So what is the first multiple of 3 between 1 to 100? It is 3, right? So I'll start my counting from 3. And how will I find the next multiple of 3? If I just add 3 to the previous multiple of 3, I'll get the next multiple of 3. Okay. So my step size will be 3. Step size is the third argument. So that will be 3. Now next question is till where should I go? I want between 1 to 100. So naturally I'll go till 101. Okay. So these will be the 3 arguments. I'll start from 3. I'll go till 101 because I want to include 100, and I'll go in step sizes of 3 because I want multiples of 3. Next step is simple. I just have to, in each iteration, I have to add this new number to the previous total, so that after the entire loop exits, my total will be sum of all the multiples of 3. So if I print the total, so sum of all multiples of 3, I'll get to be 1683. Now this range function is extremely flexible. So we can also pass negative parameters to this range function. Let me show you how. Suppose we want to count the numbers down from 5 to 1. Like earlier we saw an example here where we did the counting 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But now we want to do the counting down. So how will we do this? So I'll say for I in range. Now here the starting number is 5, right? So always the first argument is the starting number. So I'll put the starting number as 5. And we are going down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We want to go down till 0. So if we want to go down till 0, but range will always stop one step before, right? So we have to go till -1. I mean, we have to pass -1 as the second argument to range. And because we are going down, each step is like if you pass 2 as the step size, whatever is I value now, in the next iteration it will be I plus 2. But here what do you want to be the next I value in the next iteration? You want it to be 1 less. So you will pass this as -1. Is that clear? Step size is -1 here because in each iteration I is 1 less than previous, or I can say in each iteration I equals I minus 1. So this is my step size -1. Okay, so inside this what should I do? I should just print dot format I. I'll just put this comment here. Now let me run this. So here you see that I'm counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Similarly, if I want to skip 2 steps and count down, I can say for I in range 5 minus 1 minus 2, count down but in steps of 2. So I'll print dot format. So you can see I'm counting down in steps of 2, 5, 3, 1, and the next step, if I take one more step, I'll go to -1, but I have to exclude -1, so I'm not including it. So in this chapter we covered about for loops and the range function. Okay, so in general you will see that you use for loops more than while loops. So make sure that you understand this topic very well. Now I would like you to encourage you to play along with similar examples as we have in this notebook. For example, here we are adding numbers from 1 to 10. Similarly, you may try to add all the numbers which are multiples of 5, or you may try to add numbers which are both multiples of 2 and 3. Okay, so I encourage you to play around with the similar kinds of examples as we have given here. That's it for this lecture. Thank you.